Good morning. It's already been a day. It's like not even 9 o'clock, but this is technically our Friday live. I'm gonna go ahead and film it because there's a lot of construction and jackhammering going on around my house today that I didn't know was going to be happening until last night. So here we are. And I just want to be able to edit out or cut to a voiceover or do whatever because life. So winged liner, winged eyeshadow, the sort of winged uplifting whatever effect. It can be really harsh and bold. It can just be a little tiny flick, whatever suits you. The problem is all of the people I see, with the exception of Katie Jane Hughes, she's fantastic. All these people showing you how to do winged eyeliner and eyeshadow are like 20, and that's fine. But if you have any sort of like wrinkles here, if you have any sort of like my eyelid right here is not smashed flat to my face anymore because I'm not 20. So, and there's nothing wrong with that. You can still do winged eyeliner, winged eyeshadow. There's just a few tricks I'm going to show you. Also, folks with hooded eyes tend to struggle with this. Wayne Goss, or Goss Makeup Artist on YouTube, has a ton of fantastic tutorials. And if you look at pictures of Blake Lively and Jennifer Lawrence, they both have their lid like practically touching their lash line. And they often, I know Jennifer Lawrence does really cool wing liner, her makeup artist. So don't be discouraged. If you want to do it, if you like it, we're going to do it. I'm going to show you several different ways to do this so that there's something for everybody. I can't suggest these enough. These are not under eye patches. You can use those. I don't recommend it because there's a lot of goo on them and that can mix with the products you're trying to use. It can mess up your brush, make everything look patchy. So these are not the under eye patches you use to depuff. These are specifically for lash extensions. Search lash extension under eye patches from Amazon. You can get 100 for 10 bucks. And I'm going to pop these so the corner of my eye, so right here, and the end of my eyebrow, right? That's where I want it to go. And these suckers stick better than the under eye patches too, but unlike tape, which I see a lot of people using, which is kind of scary, these won't rip your skin off. So pop that right there from the corner to your eyebrow. Now I will say this, some folks, myself included, as you can see here, our eyebrows are the end of them different heights, different lengths. So, you know, unless you have a perfectly symmetrical face, congratulations, most of us don't, you're gonna have to finagle this to make sure everything is even and matches up. All right, so let's pull this guy off. You look here, and I'm just using the corner to my eye, end of my eyebrow, sort of as the general direction. And it's pretty even. But you know, one side of my face is rounder, one side is more flat. And these are the things you really start noticing when you're doing makeup on other people and yourself, because you have to really pay attention to lines and shapes and things. So, all right. So the other thing you might want is, of course, an eyeliner. A lot of people tend to use liquid. I like a good old pencil, sharp. Can't recommend these sharpeners by Glossier enough. They are fantastic, but you want a nice sharp pencil or liquid eyeliner, or, you know, on a brush, whatever's easiest for you. I think pencil is easiest for me. But then I do like another dark shadow, an angled brush, and for the eyeshadow technique I'm going to show you, just a regular old fluffy brush. Again, you want to make sure your eyes are prepped. If you already have eyeshadow on them, cool. If not, put down a little bit of powder. The only other thing you might want to have is just like a eye cream or a moisturizer, and these little pointed Q-tips. These do such a good job at cleaning up the ends. So let's get into it. So the thing you're going to want to think about is everyone's eye pretty much has a curve right here, right? Because our eyeball is circular. Our eyelid then, even if it's very slight, has a curve. The very top of that curve, right? That's going to kind of be a straight line. And so that's sort of the line you want to think about when you're just doing your wing, especially if you have a guide up like this. And again, I'm going to come back and I'm going to take all of this off and show you how to do it without a guide. But here's the top of my eye. right here, we're just going to draw a little straight line out to the end of that guide. Okay. Now, as you can see, once I close my eye, you want to do this with your eye open. When I close it, there's a line here, and then it skips. There's nothing here, and then there's this. That's okay for right now. Just go ahead and do this. Now you can fill all of this in. Just go right on top of your lid, and then fill it in after you can close your eye. But there is going to be like kind of a diagonal line and then straight. That's okay. And you can come in and finish your eyeshadow here. And you're like, Jessica, you look absolutely insane. I know. Give it a second. You gotta finagle. This is just kind of like a really big Amy Winehouse wing. And just go right into that guide. And gently with your angle brush, don't change the shape. Don't try to make this a straight line. But just whatever your eye gives you. Then when you pull it back, you have this like Amy Winehouse wing, right? Now, the only other thing you want to think about is, see how there's kind of like a dip here and it kind of goes like this. It's a little pin-up-ish, totally fine. If you don't like that, just, you know, look straight ahead in your mirror and bring this tail up to match your eyeshadow there, or eyeliner. Your line right there. And then you're like, okay, cool, but this is way too much. Take your balm. I like to keep a little bit on the back of your hand. You can use eye cream. This is just a regular old moisturizer. Your Q-tip. And this is really important. You don't want to glob this in here. Remember, we want to try to keep all of this area moisture free. So I just like to dip it in there and then roll it on my hand. And even if you don't have the pointed Q-tips, you can do this and kind of create a point at the end. So there's no like real product on there, but it's not dry. You can go up and let's say you're like, this is just too far out. I want it more up. Find your bottom line and draw it straight up. Just drag it up. And you're going to have some residue, but that's fine. See how that came off? Go in with your dry end then. Clean up everything that you don't like. And then you have a shorter, kind of more uplifted wing. I see a lot of people going in with concealer first, and then the problem with going in with concealer and then your eyeliner is that if the two mix, you're going to create a smudgy mess. So you have to be like really, really steady-handed to do that. So I'm just going in with the other side of my wet cotton bud there. And as you can see, there's like a ledge here, and it looks kind of weird. But when you open your eye, it's exactly how you want it. So that's one way, right? Put up a guide, draw a straight line out, fill it in, clean up. That's version 1. Okay, welcome to version 2, where we're going to do a winged sort of eyeshadow look if liner isn't your thing. So grab your eyeshadow and your brush, fluffy brush, and simply, again, we're gonna do straight lines. Okay. And then think of your eye socket, right? That's this bone right here. That's what we're gonna follow. And you can start, you know, from the outside and in, but just follow that socket. You don't even have to look. You just feel where it is. And go ahead and go on to that guide, right? So that's step 1. Get a little bit more eyeshadow. And then step 2 is to go from that top line, just straight down. And just along that guide right there. And then just kind of redo it. Go back and forth. Now, if you want to add like another little eyeshadow right in here, something sparkly, maybe go for it. But I'm just going to pull this back so you can see. You get this sort of elongated look here. But what we're going to do is take a clean brush and go over these edges because this is super sharp. And if you like that, cool. But if not, all you have to do is go over it with a clean brush. And you're going to get this really pretty like lifted winged liner. Or I keep mixing up eyeshadow and eyeliner. Really pretty winged like eyeshadow look. And you can take your brush and sort of intensify it if you want. But that's kind of the trajectory you want. It's kind of the shape you want. So, and you can do that with, like I did, kind of a very soft color here. You can also do it very intense. I'm going to put this guy back on here. I'm going to show you another way to get your liner if you don't want to do something this strong. Simply do your eyeliner like you would. Just doing like a nice thick line here. I'm not even paying attention, but I'm going straight out, but with my eyes closed. Remember, this one we did with the eye open, so we have this thicker line. We're doing a thinner line here. So just go from the inner corner, draw a straight line all the way out onto that guide, okay? Then once you take the guide off, you have this little wing here. We're gonna bring back our friend, and I'm just gonna dip it back into the eyeshadow we already used, and you can just sort of get that edge going up. Just elongate it if you want. You don't have to, but I'm going over the entire liner and then elongating it a little bit up. But if you don't like that for whatever reason, you can come back in. I'm just literally brushing it off with my finger. You can come back in with another Q-tip and just go up if you want, but this is just a really nice subtle flick. And you're like, all right, Jess, that's cool, good times, but I do not have the time to do that. I am not going to buy eyeshadow shield, eyelash extension patches. I just don't have time for all that. And to that I will say, I don't either. All right, so I've shown you how to get like a big wing, like Amy Winehouse style, by opening your eye and going straight across, filling in, and then kind of maneuvering the end however you need to. On this side, we showed you how to do a wing sort of effect, how to get that shape with an eyeshadow, and then you can buff and blur the edges to get whatever effect you want. And then we showed you how to do this little nice kind of flick with the eye closed by drawing a straight line from the inner corner to the outer corner and then finagling the end with some more eyeshadow if you want to. If you don't want to get into all that, this one's a little trickier because there's no guides, but I really feel like, I mean, this is how I do it. You want to take the corner of your eye, which is right here, and just sort of draw a line up. Now, the direction you go, you're going to have to practice with it. If you go like kind of more straight out, it's going to elongate your eye. If you go too far up, it can shorten your eye. If you kind of go right in the middle somewhere and you have this lid situation like I do, like I used to bring mine up too high and the lid would actually like fall down onto the winged liner and make it look really weird. So this is a really good trajectory for me. I've just found this by practicing, and you can too. So the first thing you want to do is kind of get your line, right? The next thing you want is to figure out how long you want that wing. I don't want a really big long wing. I don't want it to be super noticeable. I like it so when I curl my lashes, it's just kind of an extension of that uplifted situation, right? So I'm probably going to want it to go about here, right? So I'm just using this as a guide. I'm going to forget about it for now, but I'm going to put my pencil kind of where I want my wing to end. And then I'm going to come in just a smidge more, and then looking straight on in the mirror, I'm just going to draw a straight line back, right? So now you can see we have the line here as our guide, and we, with our eye open, have a wing back. So this is coming over my eyelid fold a little bit, but I'm just filling that in just a smidge and make sure it's all sort of connected. And I'm tapping, I'm not really rubbing, because again, I have a bit of a fold there. All right, now go back in and line the eyes. I'm going to do it right next to my lash line because I don't want too thick of a line. All right, then, so I'm using a little bit of my lotion, and basically, so right here is where we wanted everything to end. I'm going to pull my Q-tip right up like that, and you can see it creates a little wing. It lifts away that excess, and you go in with the dry side again because we don't want to smudge this around, and pull all of that up. Now that we have the shape we want, getting a little eyeshadow on the end of my angled brush, and I'm going and I'm pushing the product into my lash line and just tapping back over that wing to kind of set it and smooth it out. Very subtle. And then the other thing you can do too, either with your eyeliner or just, I'm going to use my eye shadow right now. This is cool, but it is still a bit much, and obviously I don't have any other makeup on, but what you can do is take your lower lash line, because remember we used that as our initial guide, and just draw kind of a line straight up and meet the winged liner. And then it's going to kind of connect and look a little more like it's supposed to be there. You're just gonna have to play around with it because it's about the thickness from the, it's this geometry, thickness at the bottom to the top, how long you want it, which direction you want it, but that's how I do it. So for this one, remember we used our bottom of our corner and a line out. You can kind of do a 45-degree angle if you want, like you can go flat, you can go straight, 45-degree angle, right? Who knew we'd be using geometry in makeup? So start with your line and then find out how long you want that tail to be. Come in just a bit farther, draw a line straight in with your eyes open, fill it in, fill in the rest of your eyeliner, and then finagle with a Q-tip and eyeshadow if you want. So those are 3 ways to do, actually technically 4 ways to do winged eyeliner or eyeshadow. It's something you're gonna have to practice. There's so much back and forth. So don't think you have to get it perfectly on the first try. Nobody does. So many options. And if you need help with it, guess what? I offer makeup lessons. So you can go to my website and hit the shop button. You can go to the custom makeup lesson and tap, you know, what you want help with. Just write in the comments, winged eyeliner. I'll do a video specifically for you after looking at a picture of your face and give you what you need. But I hope that's helpful. It's been a crazy day already, and it's gonna get better, you know? So have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys next week, hopefully live.